In the middle of the night, in the rain, a coffin is buried in a cemetery. A man comes to the coffin and leaves. A few moments later, the curtain comes down to close the scene. Who is inside the coffin? When does the scene take place? So much suspense in the prologue. Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about Marilyn, a great ballet both in its plot and its choreography. In this episode, we'll discuss about the Marilyn incident, the true story that inspired the creation of this ballet. Prepare yourself to embark on a journey through the opulent halls of the imperial court, where love clashes with duty. Before I start the video, I would like to warn you that this ballet shows violent interaction in the 19th century, and also deal with the subject of sex manipulation, non-consensual sexual relations. So, on this, if you are ready, let's go. Marilyn is a neoclassical ballet in 3 acts by Kenneth Macmillan, first performed by the Royal Ballet of London and premiered on the 14th of February 1978, to music by Franz Liszt. It tells the suicide of Archduke Rudolf, heir to the Austrian throne, in the company of his mistress, Baroness Marie Vetzera. The first act opens with the wedding of Crown Prince Rudolf of Austria-Hungary and Princess Stephanie of Belgium. The setting is very flattering with the ballroom of the Hofburg Palace. This is a political wedding, not a romantic one, as Rudolf's behavior towards his parents and fiancée shows. We are then introduced to the protagonist with a solo dance, otherwise known as a variation, pirouettes, powerful jumps. These movements at first glance might suggest that he is powerful and capable. After showing himself, he spots a young lady with whom he begins to flirt. This woman is Princess Louise, Stephanie's sister, who tries to resist his advances, but in the end, she succumbs to his charms. Yes, this guy is flirting with the sister of his fiancée at his own wedding. The pas de deux is characterized by graceful movements such as the penché, which create a lively and playful atmosphere. The flirting is mutual in a more polite sense. Their pas de deux is interrupted by Stephanie, who cannot stand to see them dance together and leave the ballroom. Emperor Franz Joseph, Rudolf's father, is disappointed with his son's behavior at the wedding. He's worried about the future of the Habsburg dynasty. Emperor Franz Joseph is frustrated by Rudolf's lack of focus and commitment to his duties. This disappointment sets the stage for a tense relationship between them and underlines the pressure and expectations. After the reaction of his parents and his fiancée, you would think that he would have stopped courting other women and tried to work things out with his fiancée, but that is not the case. In fact, immediately after courting his fiancée's sister, Rudolf begins to flirt with another lady, Countess Marie Lariche, who is none other than one of his former mistresses. She is accompanied by her friend, Baroness Vetzera, who takes the opportunity to introduce her 17-year-old daughter, Marie Vetzera, with whom they share a few moments of waltzing. Then comes the dance of the 4 Hungarian officers, friends of Rudolf, who enter and argue forcefully for the separatist cause of their country. This scene illustrates the political tensions of the empire. Afterwards, Rudolf meets Countess Lariche in the palace out of sight from everyone. In this pas de deux, she tries to rekindle her relationship with him. The dance is characterized by a series of tense, shifting lifts. At one point, he tries to push her away, but she comes back and leaves her again, and again. Rudolf is both powerful and vulnerable in his movements, conveying the intense emotions that drive him to seek consolation in Lariche's arms. Lariche, for her part, is torn between her love for Rudolf and her duty to the Empress, and her movements are marked by a sense of urgency and hesitation. As the pas de deux progresses, The intensity of Rudolph's emotion builds to a climax. He becomes increasingly desperate and reckless in his movements. The dance ends with them kissing, only to be interrupted by the Emperor, who has caught them in the act. Choreographically, Macmillan offers several lifts, promenade in attitude, pirouette in attitude, all designed to please the eyes, but also to convey lavish nostalgia and sense of love for Rudolph. Scene number 2, the Empress' apartment in the Harburg Palace. After retiring from the ball, Empress Elizabeth is accompanied by her ladies-in-waiting, Rudolph decides to drop by on his way to meet his new bride. In this scene, Rudolph and Sissy communicate a lot through the use of pantomime. Pantomime, in essence, is a powerful means of storytelling that relies on the use of gestures, body movements, and facial expressions to convey emotions, thoughts, and narrative elements. Pantomime provides a complementary layer of communication by delving into the inner world of the characters. It adds complexity to the scene, helping the audience to better understand the characters and their motivations. Back to the scene, Sissy is concerned about her son's behavior and state of mind, uses pantomime to try to understand what is troubling him. Meanwhile, Rudolph's movements are nervous and restless as he struggles to keep himself calm in front of his mother. She then refuses to listen to him, which infuriates him, and she tries to make it up to him. Though at the end, at the pas de deux, he takes her arm forcibly, ending the dialogue. Nevertheless, she kisses him on the forehead before leaving. This scene highlights the strained relationship between them. His burning desire to simply hear his mother say, "I love you," but she never says it. This may have influenced his way to approach his relationships with all the women he met, and also amplifies his madness. Scene number 3, Rudolph's apartments at the Harburg Palace. Now, Princess Stephanie is getting ready for her wedding night. When Rudolph enters her room, you would think he would do what all newlyweds do, hug her or kiss her gently, but no. As he approaches her, he pulls out a revolver and points it at Stephanie before grabbing her violently. The tone of the music changes, the intensity of the movement increases with dangerous acrobatics. He's carried away by his madness. He takes her in his arms. There are erotic movements that convey the intimacy of their nuptial scene. There are also acrobatic lifts. Several times he grabs her, although she doesn't want him to, and she resists as much as she can, but she can't stop him. At the end, he gets angry and pushes her. He forces her to resume the erotic act without her consent. Rudolph's hold on her reflects their toxic relationship. The pas de deux is complex and shows violent, non-consensual sex, and is a key movement in the ballet's plot. The curtain falls to end this brutal scene, leaving the audience in shock at what they have just witnessed. This is the end of Act 1 and also the end of the first episode about Mayerling. I hope you've enjoyed this explanatory video. It was a lot of work. See you next time!